My name is Sloan Henderson, and I am 29 years old, and I live in the beautiful but very rainy city of Seattle, Washington. I have spent most of my life here, and I usually love the gray skies and the constant drizzle because it gives me an excuse to stay inside and work on my projects. I work as a junior graphic designer for a local firm, and that means I spend about 10 hours every single day hunched over a computer screen. If you have ever worked a desk job, then you know exactly what that does to your body. My neck always feels like it is being squeezed by a giant pair of pliers, and my lower back has a dull ache that never really goes away no matter how many expensive ergonomic chairs I buy. I try to stay active by walking my dog around the hills of the city, but sometimes the pain is just too much to handle with simple exercise. I am a pretty quiet person, and I do not like confrontation at all. I usually just follow the rules and try to be as polite as possible to everyone I meet because that is how I was raised. I think I am a good person, but sometimes being a good person makes you a target for people who want to take advantage of you. Last Tuesday was one of those days where the pain in my shoulders was so sharp that I could barely focus on my monitor. I decided that I needed a massage, and I needed it immediately. I usually go to a high-end spa near my office, but they were completely booked for the next 3 weeks. I was desperate, so I pulled up a search engine on my phone and looked for massage parlors that were close to my apartment. I found a place called the Velvet Touch, which was only about 5 minutes away from my front door. The website looked a little bit old-fashioned, and the pictures were a bit blurry, but I did not care because they had an opening in 30 minutes. I should have known right then that something was off, but when you are in that much pain, your brain does not always make the best decisions. I grabbed my rain jacket and my purse, and I walked out into the cold Seattle afternoon. The walk was short, and the air was misty, which usually calms me down, but I had a strange feeling in the pit of my stomach as I approached the building. It was a small storefront wedged between a closed-down laundromat and a very noisy tire shop. The windows were covered with thick black curtains, so you could not see anything inside. I pushed the door open, and a little bell chimed above my head. The air inside smelled like stale incense and old laundry detergent, which was not the relaxing aroma I was hoping for. An older woman walked out from behind a beaded curtain. She looked like she was in her late 30s or maybe her early 40s, and she had a very tired expression on her face. She did not smile or welcome me in a friendly way. She just stared at me until I spoke up. I told her that I had called for the appointment, and she nodded slowly. She told me that the price for a 30-minute massage was $100. Now, I knew that was the going rate for a decent massage in this part of town, but I also knew that some of these places offered extra services that were not exactly legal. I am not a judgmental person, but I was just there because my back was killing me, and I wanted a professional to help me out. I agreed to the price, and I handed her a $100 bill from my wallet. She took the money and tucked it into a drawer without giving me a receipt. She then led me down a dark hallway to a tiny room that only had a massage table and a small plastic chair in the corner. She told me to get undressed and wait for her to return. I felt a little bit uncomfortable because the room was cold, and the sheets on the table looked a bit wrinkled, but I did what I was told. I took off my clothes, and I lay down on the table under a thin towel. I waited for what felt like forever. I could hear noises coming from the other side of the wall. It sounded like a microwave was running, and then I could clearly hear the sound of someone chewing and the clinking of a fork against a plate. I was lying there completely naked in a strange room while the person I just paid $100 was out there eating her lunch. I felt so disrespected and frustrated. I considered getting up and leaving, but I had already paid the money and I really needed my back fixed. Finally, after about 10 minutes, the woman walked back into the room. She did not apologize for the delay. She just put some cold oil on her hands and started the massage. It was easily the worst massage I have ever had in my entire life. She was not using her palms or her fingers to work out the knots. Instead, she was just grinding her sharp elbow directly into my spine and my shoulder blades. I told her that it was hurting me and asked if she could be a little more gentle, but she just ignored me and kept pushing harder. It felt like she was trying to bruise me on purpose. After about 15 minutes of this torture, she stopped and told me it was time for the flip. She looked at me with a very greedy expression and said that if I wanted the extra service, it would be another $50. I knew exactly what she was implying, and I felt my face get hot with embarrassment. I told her very politely that I had already paid for the massage and I was not interested in any extras. I told her I just wanted her to focus on my neck for the remaining time. Her entire demeanor changed instantly. She became very aggressive and her voice got much louder. She started giving me a long sob story about how she does not get to keep any of the money I paid at the front desk. She claimed that all of that money goes to her bosses, who she described as very mean people, and she said she only makes money from the tips and the extras. She started begging me to pay the extra $50, and she would not take no for an answer. I felt trapped and vulnerable because I was still undressed, and she was standing between me and my clothes. I am not a person who likes to argue, and I just wanted the situation to end, so I finally gave in. I told her I would pay the $50 if she would just finish the session and let me leave. She smiled a very fake smile, and I reached for my purse, which was on the plastic chair, and I handed her another $50. I thought that would make her happy, and she would at least try to give me a good massage for the rest of the time, but I was wrong. We got about halfway through the next part of the session, and she suddenly stopped. She looked at her watch and said that I was taking too long. She told me that she had other things to do and that I would have to finish the massage myself. I could not believe what I was hearing. I had just paid $150 for 20 minutes of pain and a cold lunch break. I felt a surge of anger that I rarely feel. I realized that I had been completely scammed and taken advantage of because I looked like an easy target. I got up and started getting dressed as fast as I could. The woman did not even look at me. She just turned around and walked out of the room to go back to whatever she was doing. As I was pulling on my boots, I noticed something sitting on the small plastic chair where my purse had been. It was a black smartphone. It was a very high-end model, and it looked brand new. I realized that the woman must have left it there when she was badgering me for money. In that moment, a thought popped into my head that was very unlike me. I was so tired of being the nice girl who gets stepped on. I decided that if she was going to steal my money, then I was going to take something of hers. I picked up the phone and I quickly slid it into the side of my boot. My heart was pounding so hard against my ribs that I thought I might faint. I stood up and walked out of the room and down the dark hallway. I saw the woman standing near the front door, and I just gave her a quick nod and said goodbye. I pushed the door open and stepped out into the Seattle rain. I started walking toward my car, which was parked about 2 blocks away. I was about halfway there when I heard the door of the massage parlor fly open. I heard heavy footsteps running on the wet pavement behind me. I did not turn around at first because I was terrified, but then I heard her screaming. She was yelling for me to stop. I stopped and turned around, and she rushed up to me with a look of pure rage on her face. She started accusing me of taking her phone. She was shouting at the top of her lungs, and people on the street were starting to stare at us. She reached out and started patting down my jacket pockets, and she even tried to reach into my purse. She was being very violent, and she grabbed my arm and tried to pull me back toward the building. I have never been so scared in my life, but the anger I felt was stronger than the fear. I yanked my arm away from her, and I looked her right in the eye. I told her to get her hands off of me and to leave me alone or I would call the police. I knew she did not want the police involved because of the illegal stuff going on in her shop. She hesitated for a second, and she searched my face for any sign of guilt. She had not checked my boots, and she obviously did not think I would hide it there. She let out a frustrated growl and turned around to walk back to the shop. I waited until she was out of sight, and then I ran the rest of the way to my car. I got inside and locked the doors, and I just sat there breathing hard for a long time. I reached down into my boot and pulled out the phone. It was heavy, and it felt expensive. I decided to drive away before she changed her mind and came back with reinforcements. As I drove through the city, I thought about what to do with the phone. I had originally planned to just drop it in a mailbox or leave it on a park bench to mess with her, but then I started thinking about how she had treated me. I thought about the $150 she had basically stolen from me and the way she had put her hands on me in the street. I drove toward the Aurora Bridge, which spans across the Lake Union Ship Canal. It is a very high bridge, and the water below is deep and cold. I pulled over in a safe spot, and I walked over to the edge of the pedestrian path. I looked at the phone one last time. I had looked up the model on my own phone while I was sitting in the car, and I realized it was worth over $2,000. It was likely the primary phone used for their business, and it probably had all their contacts and records on it. I knew that these kinds of places are often run by organized crime groups, and I realized I was playing a very dangerous game. But I also knew that she could not prove I had it. They did not have cameras in the rooms, and she was the only one there, and she had already searched me and found nothing. I took a deep breath, and I tossed the phone as far as I could over the railing. I watched it fall through the air until it disappeared into the dark, choppy water of the canal. I felt a sense of relief that I cannot even describe. It was like all the stress of the day and all the pain in my back just vanished. I got back in my car and I drove home. When I got back to my apartment, I felt a little bit paranoid. I started thinking about whether they could track the phone, but I knew that the water would destroy the electronics almost instantly, and the signal would be lost forever. I also knew that she had never seen my car because I parked blocks away, and she had no idea what my last name was or where I lived. I spent the rest of the evening sitting on my couch with a heating pad on my back and a cup of tea in my hand. I thought about the fact that I am usually a law-abiding citizen who never breaks the rules. I felt a little bit bad for a second, but then I remembered the feeling of that sharp elbow in my spine and the way she had tried to extort me for more money. I realized that sometimes the world is not fair, and sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands to balance the scales. I decided that I would never go back to a place like that again. I would wait the 3 weeks for my regular spa, or I would just deal with the pain. A few days passed, and I kept checking the local news to see if there was any mention of a massage parlor being shut down or any trouble in that neighborhood, but everything was quiet. I went back to my job, and I continued to design my graphics, and I found that my back actually felt a lot better. Maybe it was the adrenaline, or maybe it was just the satisfaction of knowing that I had won. I learned a very important lesson that day. I learned that being a nice person does not mean you have to be a doormat. It means you treat people with respect until they show you that they do not deserve it. If someone tries to take advantage of you, it is okay to fight back in your own way. I also learned that I should probably do more research before I walk into a random business in a dark alleyway. Seattle is a big city, and there are a lot of different people living here. Most of them are wonderful, but there are always going to be people who are looking for an easy way to make a dollar. I am just glad that I am not one of those people anymore. I am someone who stands up for herself. Every time I drive over the Aurora Bridge now, I look down at the water and I smile a little bit. I think about that $2,000 phone sitting at the bottom of the canal in the mud and the silt. I think about the woman at the Velvet Touch, and I wonder how she explained the loss of that phone to her bosses. I bet they were not very happy with her. It was a small victory in the grand scheme of things, but it was a victory for me. I am Sloane Henderson, and I am not a victim. I am a woman who knows how to settle a score when it is necessary. I still have some tension in my shoulders, but now it feels more like a badge of honor than a burden. I have started taking yoga classes instead of getting massages, and it is working out much better for me. The instructors are kind, and the rooms smell like actual lavender, and nobody has tried to charge me an extra $50 to finish a session. Life in Seattle is back to normal, and the rain is still falling, but I feel a whole lot lighter than I did before. I know that what I did might be considered wrong by some people, but those people have probably never been trapped in a cold room by a greedy scammer. Sometimes the only way to get justice is to create it yourself. I will always remember the splash that phone made in my mind, even if I could not hear it over the sound of the traffic and the wind. It was the sound of a problem being solved and a lesson being taught. I am moving on with my life, and I am doing just fine. I have even started working on a new project at work that involves a lot of bright colors and bold lines, which is exactly how I feel these days. I am no longer the quiet girl who hides in the shadows of the rain. I am a person who has seen the dark side of the city and came out on top. I will keep my boots on and my head held high, and I will never let anyone treat me like that again. The next time I feel a knot in my back, I will just take a deep breath and remember the day I threw a piece of criminal evidence into the river. It is a much better feeling than any massage could ever provide. I have also made sure to tell all my friends to stay away from that part of town. I did not tell them what I did, but I told them that the service at certain places is not worth the price. I think they got the message. We all have to look out for each other in this world, because there are always going to be people trying to pull us down. But as long as we stay smart and stay brave, we can handle anything that comes our way. The city of Seattle is full of stories, and mine is just one of many, but it is the one that changed me for the better. I am stronger now, and I am wiser, and I am definitely not going to be scammed ever again. I have a new sense of awareness when I walk down the street, and I am more confident in my decisions. I even asked for a raise at work, and I got it because I finally realized what my time and my effort are truly worth. It is amazing how one bad experience can lead to so many positive changes if you handle it the right way. I am grateful for the experience even though it was miserable at the time. It taught me that I have a backbone, and it is a strong one despite the occasional ache. I will continue to live my life with integrity, and I will continue to enjoy the beauty of the Pacific Northwest, but I will always have that secret memory tucked away in the back of my mind. It is my own personal reminder that I am capable of taking care of myself. The rain keeps falling, and the city keeps moving, and I am right where I am supposed to be. I am happy, and I am free, and I am no longer afraid of the shadows. I have found my own light, and I am going to keep it shining no matter what. I hope that the woman at the shop found a new job, or at least learned to treat her customers with a little bit of decency, but I highly doubt it. People like that usually do not change until they are forced to, and I think I gave her a very big reason to think about her actions. I am done with that chapter of my life, and I am looking forward to the future with a smile on my face and a skip in my step. I am Sloane Henderson, and I am the master of my own destiny. The end of that story was just the beginning of a new one for me. One where I am the hero of my own life, and I do not need anyone to tell me what I can or cannot do. I have found my voice, and I am going to use it to speak up for myself and for what is right. The world is a better place when we stand up for ourselves, and I am proud to be a part of that. I will keep walking my dog, and I will keep designing my graphics, and I will keep being the best version of myself that I can be. And I will always remember to check my boots before I leave a room. You never know what might be hidden there. It could be something that changes your life forever, or it could just be a way to get a little bit of revenge on someone who deserves it. Either way, it is a good thing to keep in mind. I am signing off now, but I am doing so with a heart that is full and a spirit that is at peace. I have told my story, and I hope it serves as a reminder to anyone out there who feels like they are being pushed around. You have the power to change your situation, and you have the power to fight back. Do not let anyone take that away from you. Stay strong and stay brave, and always remember that you are worth more than what some people might think. I am living proof of that, and I am never going to forget it. The sun might not come out every day in Seattle, but I have found a way to make my own sunshine, and that is all that matters. I am ready for whatever comes next, and I know I can handle it with grace and with strength. Goodbye for now, and stay safe out there in the big wide world. You never know when you might need to make a splash. I am moving forward, and I am never looking back. My life is mine to live, and I am going to live it to the fullest. I have earned this peace, and I am going to protect it with everything I have. I am a woman of my word, and I am a woman of action. I am Sloane Henderson, and I am just getting started. The rain is starting to clear up, and I can see a little bit of blue sky peeking through the clouds. It is a beautiful sight, and it reminds me that everything is going to be just fine. I am going to go for a long walk now, and I am going to enjoy every single moment of it. I am not worried about the pain in my back because I know it is just a physical sensation, and it does not define who I am. I am more than my body, and I am more than my job. I am a human being with a soul and a purpose, and I am going to honor that every single day. I hope you do the same for yourself, because you deserve it just as much as I do. We all deserve to be treated with respect and kindness, and we all deserve to be happy. If you are not getting that from the people around you, then it is time to make a change. It might be hard and it might be scary, but it is always worth it in the end. I am living proof of that, and I hope my story inspires you to take control of your own life. Do not be afraid to stand up for yourself, and do not be afraid to do what is necessary to protect your peace. You are the only one who can do it, and you are the only one who knows what is best for you. Trust yourself and trust your instincts, and you will never go wrong. I am going to go now and live my life, and I hope you do the same. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope it brought a little bit of light into your day. I am Sloane Henderson, and I am out of here. The world is waiting for me, and I am not going to keep it waiting any longer. I have things to do and places to go and people to see, and I am going to do it all with a smile on my face. I am happy, and I am free, and I am exactly where I am supposed to be. I am at peace with myself and with the world, and that is the best feeling of all. I am going to make the most of every single day, and I am never going to let anyone steal my joy again. I have learned my lesson, and I am better for it. I am a survivor, and I am a warrior, and I am a queen in my own right. I am Sloane Henderson, and this is my story. It is a story of revenge, but it is also a story of growth and a story of strength. It is a story that I will tell with pride for the rest of my life. I am done now, and I am moving on to the next adventure. I hope it is a good one, and I hope it is full of joy and laughter. I am ready for it, and I am excited for it. I am going to embrace everything that comes my way, and I am going to make the most of it. I am happy, and I am healthy, and I am ready to take on the world. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am signing off for real this time. Have a wonderful day and stay brave. The world needs more people like you and me. People who are not afraid to be themselves and who are not afraid to stand up for what is right. We are the ones who make the world a better place, and we are the ones who keep it moving forward. I am proud of us, and I am proud of myself. I am going to go now and enjoy the rest of my day, and I hope you do the same. Goodbye and take care. I will see you on the other side of the rain. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am just fine. Everything is exactly as it should be, and I am at peace. I have no regrets, and I have no worries. I am just a woman living her life in the city she loves, and that is enough for me. I am grateful for everything I have, and I am grateful for everything I have learned. I am a better person because of it, and I am more prepared for whatever the future holds. I am going to keep growing, and I am going to keep learning, and I am going to keep being the best version of myself that I can be. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am happy. The end of my story is just the beginning of my new life, and I am going to make it a great one. I am ready for anything, and I am not afraid of anything. I have found my strength, and I am never going to let it go. I am going to be okay, and I am going to be great. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am a force to be reckoned with. I am powerful, and I am beautiful, and I am strong. I am everything I was meant to be and more. I am at peace, and I am happy, and I am free. I am Sloan Henderson, and this is my life. I am going to enjoy every second of it, and I am never going to look back. I am moving forward, and I am moving up, and I am never going to stop. I am the hero of my own story, and I am the master of my own soul. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am done. Goodbye. Actually, before I go, I should mention that I did check the online reviews for the Velvet Touch a few weeks later. It seems that I was not the only one who had a bad experience there. There were several new reviews from people complaining about the same woman and the same extortion tactics. One person even mentioned that they felt like they were being followed when they left. It made me feel even more justified in what I did. I realized that I probably saved a few people from having their information stolen or being harassed by that phone. It was a hub of bad energy, and I am glad it is at the bottom of the river. I also noticed that the shop has a new name now, but I am not going to be fooled by that. I know the truth, and I know what goes on behind those black curtains. I am just glad that I am far away from it all now. I have a new favorite coffee shop that is right across the street from my yoga studio, and the people there are so nice. They always remember my name and my order, and it makes me feel like I am part of a community. That is the kind of energy I want in my life. I am surrounding myself with positivity, and I am cutting out anything that makes me feel small or vulnerable. I am growing as a person, and I am learning to trust my gut more than ever before. My gut told me to take that phone, and my gut was right. It was the only way to get even, and it was the only way to make sure that they knew they could not treat people like garbage. I hope that woman thinks twice before she tries to scam someone else. I hope she remembers the girl in the boots who outsmarted her. I hope it haunts her just a little bit because she deserves to feel at least a fraction of the fear and frustration she caused me. I am not a vengeful person by nature, but I believe in justice and I believe in consequences. She faced her consequences that day, and I was the one who delivered them. It was a powerful moment for me, and it is something I will always carry with me. It reminds me that I have the power to change things, and I have the power to protect myself. I am no longer a victim of my circumstances. I am the creator of my reality, and I am making it a good one. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am proud of the woman I have become. I am strong, and I am resilient, and I am capable of anything. I am going to keep moving forward, and I am going to keep shining my light. The rain might still be falling in Seattle, but I am not letting it dampen my spirits. I am happy, and I am free, and I am exactly where I want to be. I have my dog and my job and my yoga and my peace of mind, and that is all I need. I am a lucky woman, and I am not going to take any of it for granted. I am going to live my life with passion and with purpose, and I am going to make every second count. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am ready for the future. It is going to be amazing, and I am going to be right there in the middle of it. I am at peace, and I am happy, and I am free. I am Sloan Henderson, and I am done. Truly done this time. Goodbye, and thank you for being a part of my journey. It has been a wild ride, but I would not change a thing. I am exactly who I am supposed to be, and I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Life is good, and I am going to keep it that way. I am going to walk out of this room now, and I am going to embrace the world. I am Sloane Henderson, and I am a success. I have won, and I am going to keep winning. I am happy, and I am free, and I am the master of my own fate. Goodbye. My final thought as I conclude this long retelling is that we all have a little bit of fire inside of us, and it is important to let it out sometimes. Not to hurt people for no reason, but to defend ourselves when we are backed into a corner. That fire is what makes us human, and it is what keeps us going when things get tough. I found my fire on a rainy day in a shady part of town, and I am never going to let it go out. It is the light that guides me through the dark, and it is the warmth that keeps me going. I am grateful for my fire, and I am grateful for my strength. I am Sloane Henderson, and I am a warrior. I am a survivor, and I am a hero. I am everything I ever wanted to be, and I am so much more. I am at peace, and I am happy, and I am free. I am Sloane Henderson, and I am finished. Goodbye.